the evolution of intersectionality over time. You know, a little bit with the Combahee River collection, he's done that. And the funny thing that happened in the 80s with the lawsuits. But at the beginning of this section, of this video, I played two videos, one by Adolph Reed and the second by Dr. Tommy Curry. And as you can see in the thumbnail and the title, did black women, black elite women, sell out the whole black community for 30 pieces of silver? But look at somebody like Ebony K. Williams. It does appear that they did. They wanted to maintain power. They wanted to maintain control. They did the same thing that white women did. When white women included sex into the Civil Rights Bill, they didn't take those jobs and that money out of black women's mouths or out of black women's pocketbooks. They took it out of black men's pocketbooks because that's what it was intended for. And since black women wanted to maintain power and they wanted the same thing that white women wanted, they sided with them. And then somewhere in the 70s, black women got wind of this. They saw how the pie was being divided and they wanted to get in their share. And then they wanted to invent this called intersectionality, which is fine. You want your piece or advocate for your piece of the pie out of society. So you're using intersectionality against the state, against society to get your fair share, your jobs, your education, and whatnot is fine. But what you did do is you took your men and used the same kind of tropes that white men and white women have been using against black men for centuries and started to turn that on black men. Started to throw the black men under the bus, call them rapers and abusers and misogynists and patriarchs when it was never true. You parroted the same thing that your white counterpart, your white female, who had a case within their own paradigm. Because white men in this society, in this world, have the power. They have the advancement. They have the privilege. They have all that stuff that they fought and died for and killed for. But you planted that on, you transplanted that ideal and those tropes on the black men's back, who are the least likely to get those kind of privileges. You can go all the way back. Black men are always the least educated, have always been the least educated, always been the most discriminated against, always been the one, the most arrested, most killed. Whatever stat or demographic you actually want to look at, black men are somewhere near the bottom. In fact, that's why Dr. Claude Anderson called black people, really writ black men, the permanent underclass. So what you did, you took these talking points, you took these myths, you took these tropes, you took these ideals, you took this situation, and you weaponized it against your own men for your own gain. What did Adolph Reed say? You went from an academic to a public intellectual because you wanted more money, you wanted more prestige, you wanted more accolades, and you wanted more money. Like you said, your goal was the chair on a news show. Read Ebony K. Williams. And how did you get it? By throwing your men under the bus. By taking intersectionality as a concept, as a legal framework that was supposed to go up against white supremacy and racism to get your fair share. And what did you do? You used that same shovel to bury your men, to separate you from your men, to separate women from their men, and to use white supremacy and white privilege to dump on your men and bury them. And guess what? You did a good job. Only to turn around 40 years later complaining about the men that you buried not being alive, not being where you are. After burying your boys and your men for 40 years, now you're complaining that you don't have any help, that you've destroyed your community that's separated. In 1960, almost 90% of black people were married. Almost 90% of black people were married, or at least listed as married. 300 years of slavery and Jim Crow, 90% of black people were married, until they started giving you the same privileges and access to money that white women had. And as you have gotten it, guess what you've done? Did you take advantage of it as white women did? Why do you think white wealth doubled? You think white women just took the access to the money and threw their men away? No, they didn't. They went right along and worked right alongside their men and doubled white wealth. What did you do? You took the money and competed with your man. You took your man, instead of lifting him up, you drug him down. The thing is, it used to be white men, black men, white women, and you. And you didn't like where you were. But you couldn't drag white women down. What did you do? You drug your man down. So basically all you did was swap places with black men and white women. So now it's white man, white woman, black man, and you. And what you're trying to do is drag your man down below you, which is, I do believe that's the hierarchy that you want. But you're too cowardly to say it. You're always talking about it was black men that abandoned the family and abandoned the society. No, they didn't. You threw him away and continue to throw him away. Continue to slag his name and drag him down. And every time there's some kind of movement for equity or equality for black men, guess what you do? You do whatever you can to destroy it. Because it's not for black men to actually have any kind of peace or separation or independence. Every time there's some kind of black male movement for some kind of independence, guess what you do? You blow it up. And then you call on the white man and the white woman to help you blow it up, i.e. the Ice Cube effect, i.e. passport bros, i.e. the black manosphere. Black manosphere is not really about talking about women, for the most part. Black manosphere is talking about black male independence, which is something that you cannot afford. Because the only power you have is your power to hold black men down, to abuse and discriminate against black men, which you have done a very good job over the last 60 years. Now, it's almost hard to tell a black woman's voice from a white woman's voice. In fact, white women are less racist than black women. Listen to the divestors. Listen to the swirlers. Hell, listen to the black female elite. Can't tell you of all of the black professors that I know that have been fired just for doing what? Putting up black male statistics. As Tommy Curry said, there's only so many jobs, there's only so many spots in this United States. Capitalism is a zero-sum game, and everybody knows it, including white women. White women want to share their spots with their men. Black women want to compete against their men for those spots. She knows she can't go against white women. She knows that she can't go against white men, who's the only person that she can defeat in this system, which is her own men. And they're perfectly willing to put black men under their skirts, which is where they think that black men belong. The son-husband should only exist in the black community. The husband-son should only exist in the black community. It doesn't exist in the white community or the Asian community. This subjugation of men, of your own men, only exists in the black ADOS community. It's not tolerated anyplace else, even by the women. Jewish women don't tolerate that. Jewish woman will nag her son into progressing, nag her son into achieving. So, according to Dr. Curry, you're elite. I'm looking at you, Ebony K. Williams. You're elite. I'm looking at you, Kim Foster. You're elite. I'm looking at you, Real Talk with Yanni, Cynthia G., yada, yada, yada. You're elite females to get positions in the academy, to get your positions on CNN, to get your positions as far as the political offices and political gain. I'm looking at you, BLM. You threw your men under the bus. You made up lies and myths. In fact, you borrowed lies and myths from white women, tagged them on your men, got laws passed to subjugate your men, then have the nerve, Ebony K. Williams, to talk about the position that they're in, that we're not showing up. Can't show up if you're not in the room. Can't show up if racist teachers and your racist system are putting you on Ritalin, or putting you in special education, or teaching your mothers not to care about your education. They've proven, which I think I've read at least 4 or 5 studies, that white women make better mothers to black boys than black women do, simply by believing that black boys can achieve, which most black mothers don't. I'm not saying all, most black mothers don't. And I wish the elite black women that are teaching this stuff, that don't want to center black men, that don't want to center black boys, want to keep themselves centered in this affirmative action, politically correct conversation, which still is when they sick their male feminist dogs on us with the same talking points, with the same lies, with the same myths. Keep yourself centered, so guess what? So you can get the seat, you can get the chair, you can get the office, you can get the position, you can get your spot in HR or whatever business it is. You can get the grants. 80% of, well, damn near 90% of the grants go to black women. Your welfare, your food stamps, the scholarships, your grants, 80% of it goes to black women. The other 13% goes to others. Black men always get the crumbs. And we have people that are political that say we should get behind black women so they can get a slice of the pie. So at least black men will get crumbs. Looking at you, Stacey Abrams. I'm looking at you, Tiffany Cross. The same old, same old. We got black intelligentsia, or black female elite selling us out like Judas for 30 pieces of silver. And then they're sistering the average black woman, denying us 3 times before the cock crows, agreeing with us, signing up for it, and then claiming that we abandon them, as we probably should. If you're going to be against us, guess what? You're not on our side. I never saw LeBron James that was competing against whatever team, make nice on the court. We're competitors. You've drawn the line and then pretend like you're helping. And the few allies that we do have, they have to hide. They have to basically treat most black women like white people. You have to sneak and help black boys. You have to sneak and help black men. You have to whisper instead of the black community coming together as a whole for the best of both of us. Because you're not going anywhere without your men. The white man is not going to take you. Mr. Cartwright, William Cartwright, is not coming to save you. I don't care if you are having his baby. At some point, we're going to have to come out and reckon with this. The truth is already coming out. It's already starting to flip. The white men that are getting treated like black men, they are not holding back, and they are telling the truth. They are not trained to take this. And believe it or not, white women are not taught to respond to it either. Trust and believe, had I done this video when I started to do this video, I'd have been much angrier because I was pissed. You broke your whole community. You destroyed your community over 30 pieces of silver, really. And you're the best and the brightest of us. I probably would have to revisit this because I'm sure I have more to say about it. But this is my initial thoughts, and this is my initial opinion, my initial feelings on this subject. I appreciate my PhDs, my scholars, for digging this stuff up and digging this stuff out and pointing this stuff out, because they're the people that have to live this. They're the people that work behind these walls, behind these ivory-covered walls. They see this on a daily basis. The black elite female can hide behind words, hide behind barriers, and hide behind those back doors that they close and they whisper and they collaborate. Where they can't hide from the brothers that are already back there, that sit there in the seat and watch them. So I appreciate y'all. But with that, I'm going to jump off here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.